Welcome everybody back to another episode of Wayne Small Engine Repair. Today we're going to be working on a Yamaha xt600 Enduro. So I'll get you flipped around and let you check this out. It's a buddy of mine's, and we've had it sitting over winter. We just got a new battery for it and it didn't want to start up for me. So assuming we got some gel down in the carb, so we're going to take that out and go through it and see if we can get this machine to fire back up. So here we are with the XT. I think this is like a 90 or a 91 Yamaha xt600. So let's tear into this. We got to get the tank off. You got 10 mil right here. Now this will pop up, and then there's rubber pucks that it slots onto. I do got to run over here and disconnect the fuel line real quick. No, I do not. I already had it disconnected. I was doing my work pre-work. All right, so we should be able to sneak this up off there. You got to lift the back and then slide up the front. Just like that. Give it a wiggle, and off she comes. See the pucks I was talking about. Okay. So here's our weird double carb setup these machines have. They have a full-size carb over here, and then they have this weird sister carb. So first step is I'm going to grab a flathead and start loosening up all the hose clamps. An intake boot clamp here. Now this is not the OEM clamp, but when I got this machine, the stock carb wasn't on it. We tried to make, I made a custom intake manifold, a 2-into-1 plenum, and we put a Harley carburetor on there. It ran, but the throttle response was not there because you had this plenum. You know, it's not carburetor right to intake. So we ditched that. We picked up a used carb, and that's kind of where we're at now. It's been on there. I've had it running around the yard a little bit. But we didn't have a good battery. And my battery that I was using for it just kept falling out, making it hard to test drive. So we're better prepared now. We're going to make this thing run good. So now I'll bring you around and show you what I'm doing on this side now. So here's this side of the carb. What I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen up these throttle cables and pull them right off. So all you got to do is you got a jam nut down here. You just loosen up that jam nut. Just like that. Same thing with this one. Now these will slide out just like that, and then you can spin it down to the notch where it slides out, just like that. Okay. Sometimes you have to rock it like this, so I'm going to push it down. That way, see how it releases the cable a little bit? Just like that. Okay. So now this is loose, but we're going to be fighting airbox. So I don't exactly remember the process for this. It's not fun. This is kind of a tight fit. I think I'm supposed to have the airbox out of the way. In order to do that, we might have to pull the battery out. It's kind of part of it. The airbox is like the battery tray too. So what we'll do here is, I think we'll just pull this cover. This is an airbox cover. It doesn't even have any screws in it right now. I don't have the screws. They were missing when I got the machine. We're going to have to find some. You probably can't even see what I'm doing. Yeah, you can. So we're going to pull this airbox cover off. That is going to involve pulling these back out of here so we can get some slack on that. Okay, just like that. Okay. Take the battery strap off. Okay, yeah, because the top of the battery strap hooks to this part of the airbox. There we go. Okay, with that loose, I'm going to pull these 10s up here out, and then that should let the airbox have some movement this way right here. We're missing one anyways. Okay. Now the airbox, there we go. See that rocked back a little bit? Just like that. And what that did was pull it off the carbs for us. That was all we needed, so now we should be able to get those out of there. I'm going to set these up here so they don't get lost. Okay. So now I'm going to get down there and I'm just going to kind of wiggle those out of there. Let's see, I'll kind of zoom you in so you can see what I'm doing. So here's our carb. We're going to just wiggle them off of the boots here. Just like that. There's one. And almost two. Realistically, you know, if I was to look in the service manual, it would tell me to pull this whole airbox assembly out, and I kind of wouldn't be fighting this right now, but we're going to skip that step and just sneak it out. It can be done. I just got to kind of watch everything, see how I just bumped that on that, but as long as we didn't hurt it, we'll be okay. There we go. You just kind of wiggle. Be gentle at the same time, though. You know, it's okay. I can already see that there's some varnish sitting on top of the starter. Oh yeah, right here. See this varnish? Can you see that? No, you cannot. Look at this. that's sitting on the bottom of the carburetor. So that's why I didn't want to run. And you'll have that. Yeah, well, there you have it. We have our carb out. You can see what I was talking about here. We have our main carb body. Oh, it looks like we got a little crack right there. Well, good thing it's just an overflow. So we've got our main body, and then we have our sister. So it travels fuel from the bottom of the bowl over to this main jet and pulls it in through this intake passage as well. Kind of a weird setup. Okay, I'll get you up on the bench here, and we'll get this torn apart and cleaned up. Okay, we're back up on the bench here. So, well, actually, I wasn't prepared. I'm so sorry. I do this all the time, huh? I'll get better. I'm gonna go empty the fuel out of this into my oil drain. Try to get as little varnish on the bench as possible. Okay, I'm back. Let me grab my Phillips. Philippe. Open this bowl up. So we have this hose here. I'm going to have to pull that off. Oh, there we go. Okay. And there's our bowl. And as suspected, it doesn't really look that great. Okay. So next we will knock this pin out of here. Tapping on it like that. Okay, I need my pliers. She is being stubborn, I'll tell you what. Bobby. Come on. We'll take our pick, I suppose. We'll tap it with that. This is another trick you can do if you're very gentle. Take your pick, as long as it fits down in that hole, and it's not going to bind up that post. Just tap on it like that. There we go. Okay, she's still being stubborn. We got to be very careful though. So I'm going to grab it. There we go. There's our float pin out. Now we'll pull our floats and our needle. It doesn't look horrible. It wasn't stuck necessarily. Okay. Now on this carb we can pull the seat right on out, but we're not going to. We're going to just leave it in there. We'll clean it with the brushes. We are going to pull the pilot out here. And there's our pilot jet. And our main here. Let's see. Let's try and see if we can get the jet and the emulsion tube out separate this time. Yep, so there's our main jet. Right there. And now we have our emulsion tube. And there's our emulsion tube. And we got one over here we're going to pull out. Let's see. 12 mil. We're going to use a ratchet. It's over on the bike. No, it's in my pocket. Okay, now we got to be gentle with this. You don't want to snap this thing off. That would be bad. These carbs are getting harder and harder to find. There we go. Okay. Alright, that doesn't look very great. So now we got a secondary jet down in there. Okay, we can use a little bit of a bigger screwdriver in this one. We'll try this guy here. As long as it doesn't hit the threads that are in there. Just barely. Okay, we should be able to get this out. Let's try here. Oh, she ornery. Okay. Try one more time here. I'm going to give it the beans. Oh, really? Is that it? Okay. I thought it was going to be stubborn. It came right out, I think. Maybe not. Oh, yeah, it did. It loosened up for sure. I see. It just doesn't want to come all the way out. It didn't want to come out of there. And we're just going to mess it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to thread it back in there. And we're just going to clean it with it in there. That's all we can do without trying to mess this thing up. These carbs are getting too hard to find to be trying to fuck it up. So that's where we'll start with our torch tip cleaners, is right down in that jet. So right down through that. It is clear, so that's good. We'll go up in size of cleaner here now. Okay. Free. Let's go up again. That one's too big. That one fits. Barely. Okay, nope, just one smaller than that. This guy here. Nope, one smaller than that yet. Nope, one smaller than that. There we go. Okay. We're just going to run that in and out of there just like that. It moves nice and free, so that guy should be clean. We'll blow it out with air, of course. Okay. Set that down, and we'll do our other ones. So our emulsion tube. Okay. Our other main jet. Nice and clear. Our other pilot, or our pilot. Oh, we're going to have to use a smaller one. Let's get the transfer ports cleaned here. Okay. Now we'll go down. That was our smallest size, was it? Oh, that's definitely our problem. I can barely see light through that. Okay. So I'll show you what I do when the torch tip cleaners don't fit down a pilot jet. You find yourself a wire wheel. You pull off one of these little guys. Looks like I've already got one kind of hanging down. And you run that little tiny wire through there. If it's a straight piece of wire, it'd help out better. As you see, I'm sitting here fighting with it. It's going in the jet, but it's not coming all the way through because of the bends, and I'm just trying to get it to poke out here so I know it's all the way through, but let's try, we'll try a bigger wire wheel. We'll try one of these. It's got a little bit straighter wires. So just pull one of these out the way. Let's do this one right here. It's pretty straight. Already poking out. Well, this does not fit through that hole. It's too big. That's how small that pilot is because it's clogged up. I'm just going to keep working it like this till she wants to go through. Spin it. Run it back through the other way. Oh, it's not going to fit through there. Okay. I can see light through there now, but it's not enough. What we'll do is we'll try hitting it with some air now. So like this. There we go. See, that's going to force all that air out that jet hole. Jet hole. Oh, there we go. Now she's clean. We might even be able to get that wire to go through there now. Try this. Maybe. The wire just might not fit. It might just be too big. For sure, I think it's just too big. Yep. Okay. Well, it is clear though. Let's I'm gonna give it one more little blow and I'll show you. Alright. So can you get the light through there or not? There you go. Clean pilot jet. Okay. And as you can see, our main is clear. Emulsion tube, not bad. I'm gonna actually take our brushes through the emulsion tube here real quick. Just like this. That's gonna get any gunk out of there. Very nice. Looks good. Okay. Now we will take these as well through the carb here. Down in there. Down in here. Down in here. We take our biggest one. Down in the seat here. Not bad. Same thing here. Get some of that brush shit out. Okay. I'm going to go through this with the air. Oh, that blew some gunk out of there. Ooh, see all that gunk that just flew out of there? That's the gel. There we go. That's why it didn't want to start for me. Okay, we can reinstall this. Oh, the bowl. We gotta clean the bowl. Let's do that. Get all the loose stuff scraped off. Okay, cleaned out. So we'll throw our pilot back down in. Oops. Pilot back down in its hole. Okay. Now we'll go emulsion tube, and we gotta glide it over the needle there, or you can pull it down out of the way like this. Okay. Now our main jet on top of that. All right. Now we'll do, I suppose, our needle and floats. So that slips over like that. Okay, and it does spring. As you can see, there's some movement in that. There's a spring inside of this that creates some cushion. So now this slides in like this. Okay. Now our float pin. Okay. I'll just take the metal end of this screwdriver and tap it in. Real nice and gentle. Just like that is good enough. Now we'll make sure our float's doing float things. And there we have it. Up and down like it's supposed to be. Okay. Now we can throw our float bowl back on. And remember, we gotta hook that transfer tube up. So the shape of this is gonna match the shape of this, as well as this tube needs to go into this hole. Just like that. And then sneak on our transfer tube. And there we go. I'll put our bowl screws back in. Okay, now we can put our secondary jet cap on, crush washer. Tight's tight, 2 tights busted. Here we go. Clean enough. We can throw this back on the machine and see if she'll start. I'll get you set back up on the other tripod. See you then. Okay, I got you set back up there. I've got all the appropriate clamps in there now. I'm sure the keen of you noticed that we were missing one over here. That was for testing purposes. So now we've got the appropriate number of clamps in there ready to go. I'll wiggle this guy back in here. Run our vent tube back through there. Okay. One side squeezed through. These cables are in the way, I'll tell you what. Okay. Get them out of here. I might have knocked the clamp off of there, huh? Dang it. We'll get it back, I think. Okay. Keep pushing here. Nope, it's still on there. Okay. Just keep going. Alright. So now you can see I got it started in that intake boot over there. I'm not even worried about these boots right now. So now I'm going to come from up above. I'm going to guide these. What I'm doing is I'm keeping the tips of these in, and then I'm going to push down and in at the same time. Just like that. And there we go. Now the main sides are started. We can pull this airbox back. Get it rounded out again because we kind of ovaled the clamp squishing around in there, and you'll have that. Okay. Get my screwdriver in there. Give that clamp a little bit of a round bend again. Okay. Now we take our airbox. I'm going to use a screwdriver over here to guide this boot on. I've got this one over here started, and I'm going to work this one on. As you can see, we're very close. It wants to go on that side, but not over here. So I'm going to sneak through here with the screwdriver. Go. It's very close. You can see it kind of wanting to slip back off though, and that's because this side over here isn't on yet. It's probably the most fiddly part about this job is just getting this air box all back on. It's because the clamp has a flat spot in it from wedging the carb in there. And so it's making the hole like egg-shaped. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it held up like that and try to get this one over here tightened up. Nope. I've got the clamp tight enough yet. There we go. Okay, so now this side over here that you couldn't really see is on. I'm also going to tighten up this clamp now then too, the main intake clamp. Okay. Now we'll do this one while we're right here. And I'm thinking about it. Send this up, bring it over to right there. There we go. Right there. All right. Now we just got to get this guy on there. Just kind of pushing on the airbox like I was with the other side, and then try to just work it on there. See, that side's going on no problem. It's still this inside that's giving me a fight. So let's get up in here. So close. So close. Almost there. And there we go. And there we are. Now that one's on. I just get down in there. And I tighten the clamp. Okay. Now I'll get our 10s back in here. Let me grab my ratchet. And that goes in just like that. Okay. So we're going to have to still add some pressure to that to get that bolt to start. There we go. Before I tighten that up all the way, I will grab this one and get him started. All right. There we go. I'll tighten these up. I'll put this cover back on, and we'll throw some screws in that. As long as she runs good. Should. I don't see no reason it shouldn't. I will say we might have to tweak the mixture. It does have big open super trap pipe on it. So we will see how that goes. Alright, well, I'll end this little segment for here. I'll slap the throttle cables back on. I'm actually going to drain the little bit that's in that tank out, put some fresh in it, and I'll see you back here when we try to start this thing up. Okay, everybody, here we are. I've got the tank back on, fuel line hooked up, some fresh fuel in the tank. We're going to turn the key on, pull the choke, and see how this goes. So key on. Kill switch on. Pull the choke. Okay, I got the choke off. Okay, doesn't want to idle quite yet. We will say, I mean, it's cold. It hasn't ran since last summer. We have a blinker on here. What's up with that? Okay, something going on with the blinker wires. Okay, well, I'll have to look into that for them. Blinkers are not working. Might just be something loose up here. Well, for now, let's. I'm gonna turn the choke back on and see what it does. let it idle high like this for a second, give it a chance to warm up. Much better. Oh. Okay. Nope, it's still not happy. Let's see if it'll start back up. Yep, it's starting, but it doesn't want to idle. Let's, where's my idle? Let's turn the idle up a hair. Let's see if that helps. Just a hair. Not bad. I'd say that idle's a little high now. It's coughing. Okay, not horrible. It hasn't ran in a long time. I mean, we got to remember that. So I'm going to get a one rev here and see if it'll rev all the way out or not. Not bad. It's starting to warm up. Now that I feel with that idle's coming up. So I'm going to take it back down again. I didn't like that low idle. There might need to be a mixture screw adjustment still. I haven't even looked at that yet. Well, I'm going to call that good for now. I'm going to let this cool down. It severely needs an oil change, so it hasn't had one since it's been here. So I'm going to change the oil, and then I'm going to get the seat back on, and we'll try and ride it and see how it goes. So I'll see you then.